Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Midnight Affairs Tales. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know what part of the world you are watching from right now. Let us know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. He stepped into the ring with silence in his eyes. A boy, barely 14, lean, arms tight with muscle earned in pain, not privilege. Across from him, a man twice his size. Older, cocky, tattooed ego from shoulder to shin. The crowd did not know what they were about to witness. Front row, a woman in red screamed, "Come on, Trent. End this fast." She had no idea who the boy was. Not yet. But I did. That was my son. And that smug bastard in the opposite corner? That was the man who had been sleeping with my wife. This fight was not just for sport. It was for every lie whispered behind my back, for every night my son cried into his pillow while she laughed in another man's arms. This was justice wrapped in gloves and grit. The bell rang. Trent grinned. A predator scenting blood. He did not know that the kid in front of him had been trained by a Marine who had killed men in silence and built warriors out of nothing. My son moved. Fluid. Cold. Surgical. And when his first punch landed on Trent's jaw, a clean, brutal cross that snapped his head sideways, I saw something break in Melissa's eyes. It was the moment she recognized the truth. This was her son, and she did not know him anymore. Not after what she had done. That was when she screamed, "Liam, what are you doing?" Liam did not answer. His fists did. 3 months earlier, the world still believed we were a normal family. My name is Jack Dempsey. I am 43 years old. I own a garage in Fort Collins, Colorado. I served 12 years in the Marines, came home, married a woman I believed I could trust, and raised a son I would die for. Melissa Dempsey, 34, blonde, fit, loud. She was the kind of woman who made sure people saw her smile and never noticed the knife in her hand. Social media adored her. Strong mom. Fitness goddess. Marriage goals. But inside our home, cracks ran deeper than the walls. Liam was gentle, bookish. He loved comic books, hated loud noises, and flinched when footballs flew his way. Melissa would roll her eyes and say, "He needs to toughen up." I told her to stop. She never listened. The night I discovered the truth, it was not even dramatic. No lipstick on a collar. No midnight text. Just her voice drifting through the kitchen window while she sipped wine with her best friend, Cassie. "He is soft," she said, laughing. "Just like Jack. No edge. Trent says Liam needs real discipline." Cassie giggled. "You mean like the kind Trent gives you?" I froze. My world tilted. But I made no sound. No move. I stood in the dark, the words slicing through me like shrapnel. Trent. I had seen his name. Her trainer. Gym posts. Flirty captions I ignored. That night, I opened her laptop. Password was Liam's birthday. Fitting. And there it was. Emails. Videos. Plans. A quitclaim deed. She was going to sell the house. Push me out. Take my son. I stared at the screen for a long time. Not angry. Just cold. They wanted war. They forgot I had been forged in one. I did not yell. I did not confront her. I just watched. Watched her lie to my face. Watched her pack gym bags late at night. Watched her kiss Liam on the head like she had not mocked him behind his back. But that was the night I made a decision. I sat beside Liam while he played on his old tablet. "Son," I said, "do you ever wish you were stronger?" He looked up, eyes wide. He hesitated, then nodded. "Then let me show you how." We started in the garage. No weights. Just shadowboxing. Push-ups. Core work. Simple. Clean. Military discipline. No shouting. No ego. Liam struggled at first, but every drop of sweat washed away a layer of doubt. Meanwhile, I installed a camera in the garage. Collected footage. Emails. Legal documents. Dates. Bank transfers. Melissa had been planning to leave for months. But she was patient. So was I. I met with an old buddy, now a lawyer. We crafted a custody strategy. Dug up Trent's past. Assault charges sealed when he was 18. He had bounced gyms. Changed names. Melissa did not know. I would introduce her to the truth. In public. With evidence. But not yet. Liam came to me one night, bruised and tired. "Dad," he said, "what if I still lose?" "You will," I replied. "Until you don't. But pain is how men grow strong." That was the night he stopped flinching. And I stopped hoping for mercy. Melissa started wearing tighter clothes, posting more gym selfies. She would get home late, smelling like citrus body spray and arrogance. She would toss her bag on the couch and say, "Rough day. I need a shower." I would nod, silent, watching. Every lie came wrapped in routine. She had no idea I knew that every keystroke she made was sent to a folder on a drive she had forgotten existed, that every location her phone pinged was logged. She thought I was too tired to notice. She thought I was weak. Melissa was not just cheating. She was plotting. I read the messages between her and Trent, disgusting, cocky exchanges about how easy it would be to push me out, to make me look unstable, to take the house and Liam and leave me with nothing. Trent wrote, "He is a ghost already. Just needs a little shove." Melissa replied, "Working on it. He is so boring lately. It should not be hard." I stared at that line for a long time, not because it hurt, but because it revealed everything. She did not just stop loving me. She hated the calm I had built. She wanted chaos, noise. She wanted to erase everything I had protected. I printed the messages, stored them in a fireproof box under the floorboards of the garage. I made 2 copies, and I smiled. She thought she was playing chess, but I was playing demolition. Liam came home from school with a bloody lip. He tried to hide it, but I saw it immediately. "Who was it?" He hesitated. "Josh Atkinson." "What happened?" He called me weak. Said my mom was right, that I'm not a real man. I froze. He said your mom was right? Liam nodded. His mom works out at the gym too. They talk. Everyone talks. Rage boiled in my chest, but I kept my voice steady. "You want to make sure no one ever says that again?" He nodded. "Harder this time. We train twice a day now. Before school. After dinner. Footwork. Core strength. Hand speed. Every night." I wrapped his fists in the same gauze I had worn in the desert. "You will bleed in here so you do not bleed out there," I told him. And Liam, he changed. Slowly at first. Then faster. He started standing straighter, looking people in the eye. He spoke less, but said more. Melissa barely noticed. She was always on her phone, smiling at things that were not her son or her husband. She did not even see what we were building in the shadows of her fantasy life. And Trent? He still thought he was winning. He had no idea we were sharpening the blade that would end his comfort. One Friday evening, I walked into the kitchen just as Melissa ended a call. She turned to me, smiling too quickly. "Hey, just ordering takeout." From Trent's phone. The smile faltered. "Excuse me. You were talking to Trent." She blinked. Just once. Then recovered. "Do not start, Jack. I am tired." "Then sleep somewhere else." She dropped the act. "What is your problem?" "My problem." I walked to the counter and placed a stack of printed emails between us. "These. That is my problem." She looked down, flipped a few pages. Her breath caught. Then she laughed. "You have been spying on me? Wow. That is what this marriage has become." "No," I said. "That is what you turned it into." She grabbed the pages, tossed them to the floor. "You think this means anything? Do you have any idea how bored I have been? How invisible you have become?" I stared at her. Quiet. She stepped closer. "You are not a man anymore, Jack. You are just a garage ghost. A has-been. And your son? He is just your echo." Wrong thing to say. I said nothing. Just picked up the papers from the floor. Stacked them again. "Calm." Melissa scoffed. "What?" No reaction. "That is right. You never fight back." I looked her in the eye. "I do not fight with people beneath me." Then I walked away. Behind me, I heard her mutter, "You will regret this." But I did not, because the next move was mine, and it was already in motion. The basement had always been my quiet space. Oil-stained concrete, racks of tools, a punching bag that still bore the dents of my younger years. When I opened the heavy steel cabinet tucked in the corner, a rush of cold air whispered over my hands. Inside, the evidence. Flash drives. Phone backups. Printouts of every line Melissa had typed with her perfect pink nails. I placed everything inside a flat military-style briefcase and locked it. One key in my pocket. One in the hollowed-out leg of the workbench. I had been building this case for weeks. Not just to protect myself, but for Liam. If Melissa ever tried to take him, I needed to be ready to prove everything. To the courts. To the world. Liam came down, wiping sweat from his forehead. 3 more rounds, Dad. You have school tomorrow. I do not care. Just 3. I nodded. He wrapped his fists tight. His knuckles were raw. Not because I pushed him too hard, but because he refused to stop. He was changing, and I saw it in every movement. Sharper, faster, controlled. But behind his strength was something darker. He was angry, and I could not blame him. As he hit the bag, each blow echoed with things he could not say. I know about Trent, he said suddenly mid-round. I stopped. He looked at me. I heard Mom talking to him once. She said I was a mistake. My heart locked up. She said she wished I was more like him. The silence stretched. Then I said quietly, "You are nothing like him. You are better, stronger, and soon, she will know that too." He punched harder. In that basement, we were no longer father and son. We were soldiers in a silent war. Saturday mornings had a rhythm now. While most kids slept in or scrolled phones, Liam was already outside in the cold, fist shadowboxing under gray skies. I set up cones for footwork drills. He moved between them like a dancer forged in fire, fluid, fast, balanced. Every mistake was met with patience, not punishment. "Reset your stance," I said as he overextended on a right hook. He exhaled, dropped back into position, and threw it again, clean. That morning, a neighbor peeked over the fence. "New fighter." I smiled. "Something like that." Liam smirked. The compliment mattered. Not because it fed his ego, but because someone saw him for what he was becoming, not what he had been. Inside the house, Melissa scrolled through her phone, completely unaware. She had stopped trying to talk to me. Our conversations now were limited to brief logistics about school pickups or dinner. That suited me fine, because while she planned her escape, I was preparing Liam's arrival. That night, I grilled chicken for us. Melissa ate in her room. Liam and I sat in silence at the table, the only noise the scrape of forks on ceramic. "Dad," Liam said, "can I enter the charity boxing event at the gym?" I paused, looked at him carefully. "It is at Mom's gym." He nodded. "She will not see it coming." I leaned back in my chair. "You sure you are ready for that kind of fight?" His eyes were steady. "No fear. No doubt. I do not want to win for me," he said. "I want her to watch him lose." I tapped my fork on the table twice, then smiled. "Then let's make sure you finish it clean." The envelope came in the mail that Monday morning. Heavy cream stock with gold lettering. Melissa opened it at the counter and smiled. "Annual Gym Foundation Banquet. Formal. Big donors. Big press." She turned to me like we were still married. "You should come." I stared at her. She grinned. "You know, for appearances, it would mean a lot to the board." I wiped my hands on a rag. "You mean to Trent?" She rolled her eyes. "Grow up, Jack." Then, for just a second, she looked nervous. "Besides," she added, "Liam might want to come too." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, really?" She paused. "I mean, it would be good for him to be seen." "Seen by who?" "The man who calls him soft." Melissa flinched. Subtle, but I saw it. I leaned closer. "We will come, but not for your image. Not for him. We will come, because the truth deserves a spotlight." She narrowed her eyes. "What are you planning?" "Nothing yet," I said. "But maybe I will think of something." She looked rattled. The first crack in her painted armor. That night, I marked the date in red on the calendar. 2 weeks to detonation. And Liam? He trained like a storm was coming. Because it was. The local gym was quiet that morning. Empty mats, the faint echo of gloves against the heavy bag, and Liam standing in front of the mirror, wrapped hands clenched at his sides. "Again," I said. He jabbed. Right cross. Pivot. Duck. Counter. Clean. I nodded. Now faster. He reset. This time it was sharper. Tighter. When we first started, Liam threw punches like he was apologizing. Now, he hit like he meant it. Between rounds, he wiped sweat from his face and looked at me. Do you think she will be there? Melissa? I asked. He nodded. At the fight. She will not miss it. She wants to parade her new man. Make sure everyone sees what she traded up for. Liam's jaw tightened. Then I want her in the front row. He was not angry. That was the terrifying part. He was focused. Cold. This was no longer about just fighting. It was about reclaiming dignity. And I knew that fire. I had felt it once. Long ago. When I was not much older than him. In a sandblasted country with no name and no map. The first time I saw death and chose not to run. Liam was stepping into that moment. But I had to make sure it would not break him. You understand what this means? I asked. He nodded. She sees you win. You change the story. You lose. She buries you. I am not going to lose, he said. Not to him. I believed him. But I also knew Melissa. And she would not sit still while her fantasy life unraveled. She would strike first. I just did not know how soon. Melissa was not careless. She was calculated. That was why, when I saw her whispering to Cassie again outside the gym, I did not ignore it. I parked 2 blocks down, turned off the engine, and watched through the rearview mirror. Cassie handed her a folder. Melissa flipped through it fast. Nodded. Then they hugged. Too quick. Too coordinated. Something was off. That night, while Melissa was in the shower, I slipped into her closet and checked her purse. In the side pocket, the same folder. Inside, copies of my old military medical records. Photos of Liam training. A typed-up affidavit from Cassie claiming I had become unstable and aggressive. She was building a preemptive strike. Not for a fight. For court. She planned to claim full custody and frame me as a threat. Paint me as a PTSD case spiraling into violence. And she was going to use Liam as the reason. My hands shook, but I breathed through it. Rage does not win wars. Control does. I made copies. Took photographs. Returned everything exactly as I had found it. Then I called my lawyer. We have to move faster, I said. The lawyer sighed. Jack, if she files first and plays the instability card, she will not, I interrupted. Because we are going to flip it. Every lie she tells, I am going to have proof. Witnesses. Video. You said I needed leverage. I have a garage full of it. He was quiet for a second. Then, start writing everything down. Timeline. Names. Dates. I already did, I said. Started the day I stopped trusting her. It was no longer just about Liam fighting in the ring. It was about protecting him outside of it. Because Melissa did not want custody. She wanted control. The night before the banquet, Melissa decided to play house again. She came downstairs in a red blouse. Her hair curled, makeup perfect. She set the table with our old wedding china, something we had not used in years. Thought we could have a real family dinner tonight, she said, smiling too wide. Liam and I exchanged a glance. I said nothing. We sat. She passed mashed potatoes to Liam like nothing had happened. So, big night tomorrow, she said. You ready, sweetheart? I am ready, he replied, not looking at her. You sure you want to fight? You have never really been physical. That was the strike. Casual. Calculated. Designed to undercut him. Liam's fork paused halfway to his mouth. Then he placed it down gently. I am not fighting for fun, he said. I am fighting to be seen. Melissa blinked. Seen by who? By you. Because you never really looked at me. Not once. The silence that followed was suffocating. I stood, walked to the cabinet, pulled out an envelope and placed it on the table. Melissa froze. What is this? She asked. Insurance, I said. Call it what you want. But tomorrow, you're going to see exactly what you have turned your back on. She reached for the envelope. I stopped her hand. Not tonight, I said. Tomorrow. In front of everyone. Her face paled. Liam looked between us. He was no longer the boy I used to carry on my shoulders. He was the man sitting across from her. and she was finally starting to understand the storm she had created. Wait, if this story gave you chills or made you think twice about trust, don't just scroll away. Hit that like button to support the channel, and subscribe if you never want to miss another jaw-dropping tale. We drop new stories every week that'll leave you speechless. To everyone who's already subscribed, sending you heartfelt love and thanks. Join the family, because here, every story hits different. Now, let's dive back into the story. The night of the banquet arrived like a warning. The gym was unrecognizable. White linen tables, gold banners, a stage framed in soft lights. Fitness sponsors, donors, and influencers filled the room, each one sipping champagne like it was holy water. Everyone was smiling, except me. I walked in beside Liam. He wore a black suit with no tie, shoulders squared, jaw clenched like a soldier reporting for battle. He did not need armor. He was the weapon. Melissa greeted guests with her fake laugh, clinging to Trent's arm like a trophy she had not earned. When she saw us, her expression barely shifted, but her eyes did. They narrowed, calculated, like a poker player seeing a bluff she was not ready for. "You made it," she said, tone honeyed. "We said we would," I replied. Liam said nothing. Trent smirked at the boy. "Hope you brought a camera. This will be over fast." Liam stepped closer. "Calm. I brought something better. Footwork." Trent laughed. Melissa's smile twitched. Every camera in the room was about to witness something she could never spin, and that terrified her. Backstage, Liam laced his gloves in silence. The room buzzed with music and casual cheers, but around us, it all faded. This was our bubble. Father and son. The final prep. "You know what to do," I said. He nodded. No anger. No hesitation. "Fight clean. Fight smart." "I will." I handed him his mouthguard. He bit down, then stopped. "What if he cheats?" I smiled. "Then we let the cameras catch it." The announcer's voice rang out. Tonight's feature match, Liam Dempsey versus local favorite Trent Mason. The crowd clapped. Melissa stood, adjusting her dress. Trent strutted in like a star, bouncing on his heels. He blew kisses, winked at Melissa. Then Liam entered. No bounce, no grin, just precision in every step. People whispered, "Who is this kid? Was this a joke?" Until the bell rang. Trent lunged in. Liam dodged. Fast. Another swing. Missed. Then pop. A left jab to Trent's ribs. The crowd gasped. He was not supposed to land that. But he did. And he was only getting started. From the edge of the ring, Melissa's voice cracked. "Trent, what are you doing?" Trent looked stunned. Liam looked bored. This was not a fluke. This was a calculated dismantling. By the end of round one, Trent was breathing heavy. Liam had landed 6 clean shots, dodged 10, never overreached, never lost control. Melissa stood now, gripping the guardrail like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Cassie leaned over, whispering something in her ear. Melissa shook her head, eyes wide, because suddenly it was clear. This was not about a fight. It was about a reckoning. In the break between rounds, I passed Liam a water bottle. He is getting desperate. He is going to get reckless. "Let him," Liam said, sipping. "He does not respect me. That is his mistake." From the corner, Trent shouted across the ring. "That all you got, kid? You are embarrassing yourself." Liam did not flinch. He just wiped his mouth and stood. When the second bell rang, Liam moved like ice over fire. Calm, fast, devastating. He clipped Trent on the jaw, clean. Trent stumbled, cursed, swung wild, missed. Liam countered. Another shot. Another. Trent's knees bent. He staggered. Then, crack. A final right hook, surgical and brutal. Trent hit the mat. The ref started the count. Melissa screamed. Liam stood above Trent, breathing hard. And the whole crowd fell silent. Because they had all come to watch a boy get broken. But it was the man who fell. The ref reached 10. It was over. Trent lay flat on the mat, arms sprawled, chest heaving like a man who had just survived a car crash, not a boxing match. Liam stepped back, fists still raised. not in celebration, but in readiness. His face was unreadable. No grin, no gloating, just control. The crowd erupted. Some stood. Others looked stunned, unsure if what they had just witnessed was real. I heard phones buzzing, cameras flashing, whispers turning into gasps. Liam Dempsey just knocked out a man twice his age in front of 100 people. And his mother, Melissa, stood frozen. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. She had no applause left to offer, no spin to salvage the spectacle. Her golden boy was twitching on the canvas, and the son she had mocked had just erased her fantasy in one clean right hook. Liam stepped out of the ring, sweat clinging to his brow. I wrapped a towel around his shoulders. "You good?" I asked. He nodded, but his eyes searched the room for her. Melissa pushed through the crowd, ignoring Cassie's warning grip on her arm. She reached us, trembling. "What the hell was that?" she hissed. "That," Liam said calmly, "was me proving I am not soft." "You used this event to humiliate him?" "To humiliate me?" Liam turned to her, slowly. "No. You did that to yourself." The crowd was watching now, quiet, hanging on every word. I stepped between them. "Melissa, do not make this worse than it already is." She looked at me with venom. "You set this up. You coached him for this. You." "I trained our son," I interrupted. "To fight back. Not just in a ring. In life." Her face twisted. "You think you have one?" I pulled a flash drive from my jacket pocket. "No," I said. "This is me winning." I handed the flash drive to a nearby journalist. The man looked confused until I leaned in. Videos. Messages. Full proof of the affair. The manipulation. The quitclaim fraud. His eyes widened. "You want this public?" "Yes," I said. "Everything." Melissa's face turned ghostly. "You would destroy me," she whispered. "You did that yourself," I replied. Liam stood beside me, silent, unmoved. People around us began murmuring. Someone pulled up their phone. A minute later, one of Melissa's Instagram sponsors walked past her without a glance. Cassie had already left. I saw her disappear toward the valet. Melissa reached out, grabbing my arm. "Jack, please, we can fix this." I stepped back. "You did not just betray me. You tried to erase me." Her eyes darted. She saw her reputation crumbling around her like burning paper. "You are a monster," she hissed. "No," I said. "I am the one who stopped pretending you were not." Then I turned to Liam. "Let's go." He walked beside me, not as a boy following his father, but as a man who had carved his own path. Behind us, the crowd parted, and Melissa stood alone. For the first time, she finally looked small. By the next morning, the fight video had gone viral. Not just for the knockout, but for what happened afterward. People posted clips of Melissa's meltdown, side-by-side comparisons of her gym brand's strong family, slogans, and the truth playing out in high definition. Her sponsors pulled out within 48 hours. The gym's website quietly disappeared. Liam sat beside me in the garage that Sunday morning, scrolling his phone. "She blocked me," he said. "She lost the right to see you the moment she made you a weapon for her ego." He looked up. "Did you ever love her?" I thought about it. The early years. The charm. The laughter before the rot set in. "I loved who I thought she was," I said. "Not who she became." He nodded. Quiet. Then said, "You think we're free now?" I looked at him. "Yes," I said. "But we are not done." He raised an eyebrow. "We still have to finish it. Legal custody. House papers. You are going to stay with me, full time. No loopholes. No threats. I want that." I placed a hand on his shoulder. Then we ended on paper. That afternoon, I met with the lawyer again. We handed over the last of the documents, signed statements, video transcripts, timestamps, social witness reports. Everything in one file. "Judge sees this," the lawyer said. "He will hand you full custody and toss her claim out with it." "She will fight," I said. He smiled. "She already lost." I looked out the office window, the sun setting over Fort Collins, lights spilling across the skyline. She had tried to destroy the foundation I had built, but she forgot. You cannot break a man who already survived war. The courtroom was cold. Fluorescent lights buzzed faintly overhead as Melissa took the stand, her hair pulled into a tight bun, face painted in practiced innocence. But beneath the polish, cracks were forming. Liam and I sat across the room, silent, calm. I wore a gray suit. No tie. Liam wore black. Stiller than he had ever been. Melissa's lawyer spoke first, reciting a carefully crafted list of accusations. Emotional volatility, post-traumatic stress, unpredictable behavior, rooted in my military history. It was a script, and she was clinging to it like it could still save her. Then it was my turn. My attorney stood slowly. We will be entering 3 exhibits into evidence today, Your Honor. He turned to the clerk, handed over a hard drive, a folder, and a notarized letter. Exhibit A, recordings and text messages between Mrs. Dempsey and Mr. Trent Mason detailing not only an extramarital affair, but also a conspiracy to forge financial documents. Gasps echoed from the back of the room. Exhibit B, a sealed juvenile assault charge involving Mr. Mason, unreported by Mrs. Dempsey despite allowing him access to her minor son. Melissa flinched. Exhibit C, a video from a public event where Mrs. Dempsey is heard mocking her child, followed by an attempt to publicly discredit Mr. Dempsey's reputation through verbal threats. The judge leaned back in his chair. Melissa's expression broke, if only for a second. My lawyer's voice was low, controlled. Mrs. Dempsey, do you deny your voice is the one in these recordings? She looked at the judge, then at me, then at Liam, and she whispered, no. When the gavel came down, it was almost anticlimactic. Full legal custody granted to Mr. Jack Dempsey. Restraining orders approved regarding Mr. Trent Mason. Mrs. Dempsey will have no visitation rights until further court review. Melissa collapsed into her chair, silent tears streaking her face. Liam did not look at her. Not once. Outside the courthouse, reporters circled us like flies, but I held up a hand. No comments. This was not about a headline. It was about freedom. That night, Liam and I sat on the back porch, burgers on the grill, dogs barking 2 yards over, a breeze cutting through the heat of summer. He leaned back in the chair, legs stretched. Feels weird, he said. What does? This piece. I nodded. You will get used to it. He turned his head slightly. Do you think she regrets it? She regrets getting caught. He nodded again, slower this time. I am glad she is gone, he said. So am I. We ate in silence, not because there was nothing to say, but because there was finally no storm to speak over. 2 weeks later, I found a letter in the mailbox. No return address, just my name. Neat handwriting. Inside, for handwritten pages. It was from Cassie. She apologized. Said she had known about the affair for longer than she admitted. Said she had tried to stay neutral, then let it go too far. I was afraid of Melissa, she wrote. Afraid of what she would do to me if I talked. She ended with this. She used us all, Jack. You were just the last one who saw her for what she really was. I hope Liam grows up nothing like her, and everything like you. I folded the letter, placed it in a drawer in the garage. Not because I wanted to keep it, but because Liam might need it one day. Proof that even those who stood by evil can come back to the light. Later that night, Liam knocked on the garage door. You done working? Yeah, I said. Come on in. He sat beside me on the stool. Can we go somewhere tomorrow? Where? He shrugged. Anywhere. Just us. I smiled. You drive. That was the first time he smiled back. And in that garage, with the hum of an old engine behind us and the smell of oil in the air, I finally felt it. Closure. But the story was not finished. Because karma does not stop when the judge rules. Sometimes it knocks again. Melissa vanished. After the custody ruling, her gym shut down. Her name disappeared from local events. Clients stopped mentioning her online. It was as if she had been erased by her own doing. Until the fire. 2 weeks later, her car was found burned out near the Canyon Road. Police called me in. Asked questions. Routine. They said she was fine, She had reported it herself. But there was something in the officer's voice. A hesitation. She told us it might be retaliation, he said. For what? He shrugged. She mentioned the court case. Claimed you had a motive. I sat there, hands folded, and said, let me make one thing clear. I would never hurt her. But she hurt herself. The officer did not push. Back home, Liam waited. She's trying to make a comeback, he said flatly. Maybe. She is going to find a way to play the victim. I nodded. That is what people like her do. Liam looked down. I do not want to see her again. You might have to. One last time. His eyes narrowed. She is not done yet, is she? No, I said. But we are. Chapter 23. Broken apology. The knock came late, past 10, when the town had gone quiet. I opened the door, and there she was. Melissa. No makeup. Hair pulled back. Clothes wrinkled like she had not slept. I stepped aside. I only need 5 minutes, she said. Liam was upstairs. I made sure of it. She sat on the edge of the couch, fidgeting with her sleeves. I messed everything up, she said. You did. I do not expect forgiveness. I am not offering it. She swallowed hard. I keep seeing his face. In that ring. I thought I was doing what was best. I thought Trent. Stop, I said. You thought of yourself. Not once did you ask what Liam needed. What I needed. You just ran with a fantasy. Tears welled in her eyes. I lost everything. You threw everything away. A pause. Then, do you hate me? I sat across from her, quiet. No, I said. I pity you. She stood, wiped her eyes. If he ever wants to talk, he will let you know, I said. And then she left, without another word. The next morning, a manila envelope arrived in our mailbox. No return address again. Inside, 3 letters. One for me, one for Liam, one addressed to the court. Melissa had written them by hand. The writing was tight, neat, almost desperate. Mine was short. Jack, I was raised to believe love came from admiration. I sought admiration from the loudest voices, the brightest lights. I was wrong. You were always steady. That terrified me. I thought it meant dull. But now I understand it meant safe. I hope you find peace. Liam's letter was longer. I did not read it. I left it on his desk. That night, I saw him staring at it for almost an hour. He finally picked it up, read it once, then put it in his drawer. He never said a word about it. But he trained harder the next morning, and something in his eyes had shifted. 3 days later, I got a call from the lawyer. You are not going to like this, he said. What now? She filed for partial visitation. Supervised. She cannot be serious. She is. Says she is clean. In therapy. Attached some documentation. I hung up without responding. Liam was in the garage, wrapping his hands. She wants back in, I said. He kept taping. Then tell her something for me. What? He looked me in the eye. Tell her the door she slammed shut. It locked behind her. I smiled. Because I knew then, he was not fighting anymore. He had already won. It arrived 2 weeks after Melissa's last move. Another envelope. No return address. But this one was different. Thicker, heavier. Inside, a report. A paternity report. I read the first page. Froze. Then read it again. My throat closed. I went outside, sat on the back steps, the paper trembling slightly in my hand. It was not possible, but it was. Liam was not biologically mine. Melissa had known, and never told me. The date on the test showed she had it done months ago, during the early court hearings. She never submitted it. She never said a word. Just kept it hidden like everything else. I heard Liam coming down the hallway. I folded the report. Tight. He walked out into the backyard, barefoot on the deck. You okay? He asked. I looked at him. Really looked. That face. That posture. That fire. It was mine. I nodded. Yeah. Just tired. Because he was mine. In every way that mattered. And I would be damned if a piece of paper changed that. That night, I stared at the report until midnight. The test had been requested by Cassie, not Melissa. Her name was listed as the contact. That meant Melissa had never even seen it. Cassie had sent this. Why now? Was it revenge? A last strike? or a twisted attempt at redemption. I burned the report in the fire pit out back. Watched the flames eat through the barcode, the signatures, the lies. Liam came out again, arms crossed. What are you burning? Just something that does not matter anymore. He looked at the flames, then back at me. You sure? I nodded. There are fathers by blood, and there are fathers by battle. You fought for me, he said quietly. I would do it again. He stood beside me, staring into the fire, and I realized something. This was the moment that would define us. Not the court, not the ring, not even Melissa. It was this, choosing loyalty over biology, family over fear, and I had already made that choice. 3 days later, Cassie showed up at the garage. I almost did not open the door, but I did. She stood there, dressed in black, holding a small box. I am not here to make excuses, she said. Then say what you came to say. She stepped in. Melissa had Liam during a time when she was with someone else. She knew. She always knew. But she chose you anyway. That is not a compliment. No, but you were the only good thing in that boy's life. She handed me the box. These are things Melissa asked me to hold. She wanted them buried if anything happened. Why give them to me now? Cassie's voice cracked. Because he deserves to know who you are. And because I am done hiding secrets that are not mine to keep. I opened the box after she left. Inside, baby photos, a locket, and a letter with my name on it. Melissa's handwriting. I did not open it yet. I just held it in my hands, knowing one thing with absolute clarity. No matter what was written in that letter, it would not change the truth Liam and I had forged with sweat, pain, and steel. But it might explain the woman who tried so hard to destroy us. And that mattered more than I wanted to admit. I waited 2 days before opening it. Melissa's letter. It sat on the garage workbench like a bomb waiting to go off. Every time I passed it, I felt its weight, even though it was just ink and paper. Liam was at school. The shop was quiet. So I unfolded it. Jack, if you are reading this, then I probably do not deserve to ask anything of you. But I hope you will understand why I could never tell you. Liam is not yours by blood. I always knew. I was scared if I said it out loud, it would destroy everything we had. But I realize now, it was not the truth that destroyed us. It was my fear of it. You were always a better man than I deserved. You gave Liam strength, safety, purpose. You were never just his stepfather. You became his foundation. And you always will be. I sat back. For a moment, I felt nothing. Then, a strange calm. Not forgiveness. Not closure. Just confirmation. That even the person who broke us knew who the real father was. And it had nothing to do with DNA. Liam hit the heavy bag with slow, methodical strikes. Each punch echoed in the garage like a heartbeat made of steel. I watched from the corner, arms crossed. His form had changed. There was power in him now, but not just in his fists. In his posture, his eyes, his breathing. He stopped mid-round. Did you read it? He asked. I nodded. She admitted it? Yes. Silence. Then he asked, does it change anything? I stepped forward, placed a hand on his shoulder. It does not change you. He blinked fast. I saw the hurt flash across his face, then disappear. I was scared it would. It won't. You are mine, Liam. Nothing written on a page changes what I bled to build with you. He looked down, whispered, good. Then he stepped back to the bag and threw one more punch. Hard. I do not want her in my head anymore, he said. She's not, I replied. She is in your past. And that was the first time I saw him truly let go. Not just of her, but of everything. We stood at the courthouse steps again, but not for a fight this time. This time, we had paperwork in hand. Real paperwork. Clean. Liam had made the decision himself. I want to change my name, he told me one night. Legally. To what? He looked at me without blinking. Liam Dempsey. I did not speak. Just nodded. Tight in the throat. And now we were here. No camera crews. No spectators. Just us. The judge read through the form slowly. Stamped it. It is done, he said. Congratulations, Mr. Dempsey. Liam shook his hand. Outside, I asked him why now. He shrugged. Because it is time people stopped calling me her son. I smiled. You were never her son. He laughed softly. Still, it feels different now. It did. And as we walked back to the truck, side by side, I realized something. The story we started in silence had become louder than anything she could have imagined. Because she gave up her name. And he gave it meaning. I thought we were past it. Past the courtroom. Past the fire. Past the fallout. But karma has its own clock. The call came on a Thursday afternoon. Unlisted number. Mr. Dempsey, the voice said. Female. Calm. This is Detective Monroe with the Larimer County Sheriff's Office. We need you to come in. About what? There has been a development. It involves Melissa Dempsey. I paused. What kind of development? She was quiet a moment. Then, we believe she has fled the state with falsified documents. She may have tried to re-establish custody rights in Arizona. I sat down, cold washing through me. You're telling me she's trying to steal him again? Not yet, but she is attempting to. We intercepted an application. Your name was removed. A man named Trent Mason was listed as legal guardian. Blood roared in my ears. Trent. That man was still trying to stay in Liam's life. And Melissa was still manipulating the system. This was not over. Not yet. I did not tell Liam right away. Not out of fear, but strategy. We needed a plan. Fast. Clean. Legal. Bulletproof. I called my lawyer. She forged a form in another state, I said, with a man under sealed assault records. That is a federal felony, he replied. And you have all the paperwork proving custody. If she crosses state lines with intent to alter that, it is criminal kidnapping. Can we move preemptively? I will file an injunction first thing in the morning. That night, Liam sat across from me at the kitchen table, wiping sweat from his neck after training. I finally told him. He sat still. Too still. She tried again, he said. Yes. With Trent. Yes. He said nothing for a full minute. Then looked up, voice like ice. Let's end this. For real this time. We flew down to Phoenix that weekend. The police had located Melissa. She was staying in a rented condo under a false name, Martina Ray. Cute. Almost clever. The plan was simple. Serve her with federal notice. Deliver the restraining order. Lock it airtight. Make her existence legally irrelevant. Liam wanted to be there. I need to see it for myself, he said. I did not argue. We arrived with officers. Quiet. Calm. When the door opened, Melissa looked thinner. Pale. Eyes darting between me and Liam like a rabbit about to run. She said nothing. The officer handed her the notice. You are officially barred from any further contact with Liam Dempsey. Violation will result in federal charges. Melissa stared at the paper. You're really going to let me disappear? Liam stepped forward. You disappeared a long time ago. Now you're just catching up. She tried to speak. Nothing came. Then we turned and walked away. Back home, Liam threw the last of his old photos into the fire pit. He stood silently, watching the flames eat away at every lie, every wound, every twisted memory of who Melissa pretended to be. I do not want to hate her, he said. You do not, I replied. You survived her. The fire cracked. Then he turned to me. I want to train others. Kids like I was. Ones who feel weak. I smiled. You ready for that? I have been ready since the night I walked into that ring. And I knew he meant it. Not just the gym. Not just boxing. He wanted to build a legacy from what nearly destroyed him. From what tried to erase him. He did not just carry my name now. He carried our purpose. And the fire in his eyes was no longer rage. It was resolve. We put up the new sign on a warm Saturday morning. Dempsey and Sons Boxing and Auto, strength built here. The garage stayed on one side, where I tuned engines and taught discipline through tools and torque. The new side? A stripped-down ring, heavy bags, 2 benches, and a worn wooden floor where kids came to learn how not to break. Not just their bodies, but their spirits. Liam ran the fight room. I ran the workshop. We called it training, but really, it was rebuilding. Most of the kids who showed up were like he had been. Quiet, overlooked, angry at the wrong people. Liam worked with them one-on-one. No yelling, just pressure, structure, confidence. You ever think this would be your life? I asked one night. He looked at me, sweat on his brow, knuckles taped. I used to think fighting was survival, he said. Now I think it's what saved me. And it was true. He had become the kind of man who could have saved his younger self. Now he was doing it for others. The phone rang late, just past 11 p.m. I answered groggily. This is Jack. The voice on the other end was from a hospital in Flagstaff, Arizona. We are calling about Melissa Dempsey. I stood up. What happened? She was found unconscious in a motel. Suspected overdose. She is stable now, but barely. Silence hung in the room like smoke. Why are you calling me? You were still listed as emergency contact on an old insurance record. There is no one else. I almost laughed, but I didn't. Instead, I asked, does she know where she is? She's awake, barely speaking. Keeps asking for her son, Liam, the name she tried to manipulate and erase. I hung up, stared at the ceiling for a long time, and decided to let Liam choose. Liam walked into the hospital alone. I waited in the truck. He returned 40 minutes later, his face unreadable, calm. I opened the door. Well, she's broken, he said. Worse than before. Did she talk? A little. Kept calling herself a mistake. Cried a lot. I didn't say much. Do you feel better? No, he said. But I feel finished. He looked out the window. She asked me to forgive her. And did you? He paused. Then, I told her I already had. But I would never forget. And that was all he needed to say. Forgiveness is not for the person who broke you. It is for the one who survived. The crowd at the gym was small, local parents, friends, a few supporters from town. But to us, it felt like Madison Square Garden. Liam stood beside me in the ring as the first youth bout began. 2 kids, both nervous, both trying not to look scared. He leaned in. This is where it starts for them. Yeah, I said, and they will not be alone in it. He called out coaching tips mid-round. Encouraging, focused, sharp. One of the parents came up to me, beaming. That your son? I nodded. Yeah, he's something else. I know, because Liam was not just a fighter anymore. He was a builder, a mentor, a man made from wreckage and reforged in purpose. The garage smelled like sweat, oil, and ambition. Liam stood in the center of the ring, his fists up, guiding a 12-year-old through basic form. The kid's stance was shaky. Guard too high. Lower your chin, Liam said. Lead with your jab. Do not swing for the knockout. Control first. Power comes later. The boy nodded and tried again. Better this time. I watched from the corner. Silent. Proud. Liam was not just mimicking me anymore. He had become better. Smarter. Calmer. The garage had transformed with him. The ring was always occupied now. The bench rack rarely empty. Word had spread. Kids who trained here left different. Tougher. Sharper. Quieter. Stronger. One evening, Liam turned to me after his last class. You ever think about expanding? More than once, I said. But only if it is you leading it. He smirked. I already drew up the logo. That was the first time I realized. He was not building my legacy anymore. He was building his own. One stormy evening, I opened a drawer I had not touched in months. Melissa's letters. The originals. I had kept them sealed, tucked behind a box of Liam's old report cards. Why? Maybe part of me needed to believe there was more to her than betrayal. That maybe she had tried, once. But tonight, I opened them. The letter to Liam was raw, desperate, full of regret and spiraling phrases like, I do not know who I am anymore, and I never knew how to love the right way. It hurt to read, not because I forgave her, but because this woman had raised Liam during his most fragile years and broken every piece of him. And yet, he had still grown into this man. A part of me pitied her, but I could not feel sorrow for her anymore. Only distance. I sealed the letters again, then locked them away for good. We sat under the old oak tree out back, the one Liam used to read under before he even learned how to punch. He stretched out on the bench, hands behind his head. It's weird, he said. How quiet life can feel after chaos. Peace is not weird, I said. It's earned. He closed his eyes. Sometimes I still hear her voice. I nodded. It takes time. Ghosts don't vanish. But they stop chasing you. He turned to me. Do you still think about her? Sometimes. But not as the woman who hurt us. More like a storm that passed. He sat up. I think I'm ready. For what? To let it go? All of it. He stood and walked to the fence. Looked over the hills like he was seeing something beyond them. Then he said, without turning around, I want to open a second gym. Name it after you. The ribbon cutting was small. Local kids. A few families. A reporter from the city who wanted a feel-good story. The sign said it all. Dempsey Legacy Center, forged in fire. Inside, the place was cleaner, bigger, more modern, but every inch of it carried our history. A framed photo of the old garage hung behind the front desk. Beside it, a shot of Liam's first fight. The moment that changed everything. He gave a short speech. I used to think strength came from fists, from knocking someone down. But real strength? It's what keeps you standing when the world wants to see you fall. The crowd clapped. Some cheered. I stood in the back, arms crossed, eyes glassy. Not because I was proud, though I was, but because I saw a boy who had once been broken, now teaching others how to stay whole. The first time I taught Liam to throw a punch, he missed. The last time I held mitts for him, he knocked the breath out of my chest. We laughed after that one, not because of the hit, but because of what it meant. He had grown. Into strength. Into clarity. Into himself. That night, I found a quiet moment in the ring. No lights. No noise. Just the soft creak of rope and the dust of history in the air. I remembered holding Liam's baby bottle in one hand, typing shop invoices with the other. He was never not mine. He was mine the second he looked at me with those wide, scared eyes after his first nightmare. You do not need to share blood to be someone's father. You need to show up when it is hardest to. And I never stopped. That is why he carries my name. Not because I gave it, but because he earned it. We got word from Arizona 3 months later. Melissa had passed. An overdose. Quiet. Alone. No will. No obituary. No family. The call came from a clerk who had dug through her documents and found one last contact record. My number. I told Liam that night. He sat quiet for a long time, then finally said, I do not feel anything. That is okay, I said. She made me who I was, but not the part of me I kept. He looked at the fire pit. Thought for a while. I do not want to bury her in my mind, he said, but I do not want her haunting it either. She won't, I told him, because you already outlived her shadow. And that was the truth. She had ended as she lived, running from the weight of her own choices. But we were still standing. His name was Max 13. Small for his age. Looked like a shadow wearing sneakers. Shy. Could not meet your eyes for more than 2 seconds. Liam met him during a school outreach. Gets picked on, the counselor said. Won't talk. Not to anyone. So Liam brought him in. No pressure. No drills. Just presence. The first day, Max did not say a word. Second day, he asked to wrap his hands. By the third week, he had a left jab. And when Liam gave him a small medal at a youth sparring event, the boy's mother wept in the corner. Not because her son had won, but because someone had seen him, just like Liam had once needed to be seen. And in that moment, I knew this was not about revenge. It never had been. It was about healing forward. The gym stayed open late that Friday. Liam's idea. Some kids need nights more than mornings, he said. We ran one-on-one drills under dim lights. The beat of gloves on canvas echoing like heartbeats through the space. After everyone left, Liam sat on the edge of the ring, breathing slow. You think this will last? He asked. Only if we keep showing up, I replied. He nodded, then leaned back against the ropes, eyes closed. I don't dream about her anymore, he said. I used to. Every week. What do you dream about now? He smiled. About helping the ones she would have broken. And that was when I knew. We were not haunted men. We were healed ones. Still scarred. But standing. Liam found it while cleaning the storage locker, the original gloves. The ones from the charity match, torn at the seams, still stained with sweat and victory. He held them like relics. These started it all, he said. I nodded. And ended something too. We framed them on the gym wall under a single spotlight. No plaque. No caption. They did not need one. People knew the story, not just of the fight, but of everything it symbolized. The betrayal, the bruises, the rebuilding. Parents brought their kids in and pointed at those gloves. That's what strength looks like, they said. But what they did not know was this, that strength came after the fight. In the silence, in the healing, in the decision to rise. Liam taught that now. And the gloves? They watched it happen. Every single day. The Dempsey Legacy Center expanded to 3 locations by the next year. One in Fort Collins, one in Denver, and the newest one, named after Liam. The Liam Dempsey Foundation, stronger than blood. The opening day was packed. News cameras, former students, kids now in college who used to cry after training sessions now stood tall beside their own little siblings. Liam gave a speech. He kept it simple. I came from a broken place. But I was not broken. I was rebuilt. By my father. By this community. And now by you. People clapped. I just stood in the back, hands in my jacket, eyes wet, heart full. Because I did not need credit. I had something more powerful. Legacy. And it had my name on it. But more importantly, it had his. Late that night, Liam and I sat in the ring after everyone had left. The lights were low. The building silent. He leaned forward. You ever think we'll forget all this? No, I said. Because we lived every second of it. He nodded. I still think about what would have happened if I hadn't said yes that first night. You'd still be strong, I said. But maybe not unbreakable. He looked at me. You think she ever loved me? I paused. Then I answered honestly. Maybe. But love without loyalty is just manipulation. And with that, we let it go. All of it. Because revenge fades. But peace? Peace stays. And that is what we had now. So now I ask you, would you choose revenge or rebuild what they tried to destroy? Let us know in the comments and tell us where you're watching from. If this story hit your heart, tap that like button and subscribe for more unforgettable tales of truth, betrayal, and redemption. We'll see you in the next epic revenge story. Until then, stay sharp. Stay strong. And as always, take care of yourself.